My name is Mike Long. I'm 50 years old, and basically for 25 years of my adult life I was over 300 pounds, and with all those metabolic disorders that come with that, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sky-high cholesterol. About 3.5 years ago I was at the doctor's office and I got some alarming results of some lab work, and it was quite detrimental to my health and I needed to make a change, and so this is how I did it. I did research quite a few different diets, but I knew right away all the junk food and the sugars and the sodas and stuff like that, processed foods had to go right away. You know, just a lot of times where I was hungry all the time and I thought, well, there's got to be maybe something I'm doing wrong. So in research, I was listening to an MMA podcast and they were talking about cutting fat at the same time you're retaining your muscle mass, and this is what the MMA fighters were doing, called the keto diet or the ketogenic diet, and I started researching it to find out how it worked. The ketogenic diet, your body is kind of flexible as well on the fuel sources it can run off of. It can run off of glucose, which is metabolized sugar and carbs, or it can run off metabolized fat, which is called a ketone. And that's where the name ketogenic diet comes from, because you're basically eating in a way that you're converting your body to produce ketones and then convert to run on them as a fuel source. So that's where the word ketogenic comes from, is the ketone, which is the fuel source that you're converting your body to run on. Well, dietary intake on a ketogenic nutrition is very important. A lot of the foods that you eat are going to trigger hormonal responses. So basically a lot of good, healthy, saturated fats that come from avocados, macadamia nuts. You can find a lot of good animal-based fats in sausages and fatty meats. I eat a lot of ground beef and I eat a lot of ribeyes cut because it's got a lot of fat on it. You're gonna limit your proteins a little. I recommend ground beef, I recommend lean chicken. I eat a lot of that as my meats, and a lot of green leafy vegetables. I'm telling you, if you like to go out somewhere, find a place with a salad bar, it's almost a no-brainer. A piece of meat, a salad bar, it's very easy to eat keto friendly out in a restaurant. You just stick to your proteins and your fats and no carbs and no sugars. Well, if I were to say the #1 thing that I do not eat would be definitely sugar. In fact, any kind of added sugar or sugar in any product, there's gonna be natural sugars that occur in like ground beef. My personal magic number is to hit under 5 grams a day of sugar, whether it's in ground beef or an almond product I'm eating. Definitely carbs of any sort, potato, flours, pastas, breads, rice. You wanna keep that number under 20 grams. I tell people it's been 3.5 years since I've had an apple or an orange or a banana, and they look at me funny, but sugar, and those are definitely mostly what I stay away from. Well, if I would have to say the #1 difficulty was in the transition, was just not eating the way that I liked to eat, because pizza tastes good and pasta tastes good and McDonald's looks and smells a certain way for a reason. Besides the cravings, I would say just getting creative with my cooking to stay within ketosis, but to learn how to use leaf lettuce and romaine instead of wraps to even get more low carb. What can I eat when I'm out? Because obviously you don't know what kind of oils and sugars are in the sauces, so there's definitely an eating out learning curve, and those were just simple adjustments to overcome, but nevertheless they are definitely challenges. Cardio workout is the most compatible type of exercise to fat oxidation, to metabolizing your fats for fuel, because it's a slower process of replacing those muscle glycogens with stored fat. With the keto diet, you want to do lots of what's called HIIT exercises, or high intensity interval training, where you're going hard for 2 or 3 minutes and then you're completely letting your heart rate come down. So you're in essence giving your body time to say, I need some energy, give me some fat, as opposed to, you know, I'm bench pressing 250 pounds, I'm tearing my muscles down trying to get strength back in there. If I had to say, the biggest benefit would be no longer being a type 2 diabetic, no longer having off the charts cholesterol lab works, is no longer having blood pressure that's so high that I have to take 2 medications. I mean, the fact that I don't take any prescription medicines for any metabolic disorders has to be more important than the weight loss itself, because you're not relying on medicating yourself to a lab result. You're changing your life to get better lab results, and that's ultimately a better picture of health. I would say if there's one piece of advice that I would like to give anybody that's investigating ketogenic nutrition, go to the medical hospital case studies. They're real easy to find, the major teaching universities. Just don't be overwhelmed with all the information that's out there now. That would be my best piece of advice. In the beginning, announcing that I was doing ketogenic nutrition was pretty interesting. I got told quite a few things. Questioned once about already losing a few pounds and that why would I try some crazy diet nobody ever heard of. So to date, doing the ketogenic nutrition, my total weight loss has come to 140 pounds, and that is with straight dieting and fasting with the ketogenic nutrition.